Hello, ESR people. This is the DTM race that we had at Hockenheim last Saturday. Sorry. Excuse me. Sorry for it being so late. The problem was, of course, that OBS crashed during the recording of the race. And as a result, we did not have a race recording with the spectating software, the HUD, and so on. Or I guess overlay, technically, is what it is, not a HUD. As a result, I'm going to have to use the replay system within Raceroom, which means no team chart, no gaps, no information on pits. So it's going to be a little bit lackluster there. I'm going to try and pay attention as best I can, and that's why I'm doing this one solo. That way I don't have Byron cracking me up at any point and forcing me to kind of be quiet. So here we go. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this one. Is it a valid or viable way of doing commentary if we indeed have a failed spectator for whatever reason, game crash, OBS crash, whatever the case may be. And let me know what you think. So here we go. And on the bright side, I can make use of some rewind features possibly. So here we go. We are with Douglas DeGroat, who's starting in 19th position, I believe, for TBMW. And here we go. They are off. Lucas Cranbeer, by the way, starting on the pole from Mike Stockmill. A couple of cars appearing in the background. And cars disappearing in the front. That'll be something that goes away after the first lap, don't worry. And John Barker has fought his way up to 18th place, or down to 18th, not sure which. And we are on board with Mr. Barker. He is driving the Playboy Bunny Audi, I do believe. And is running in 18th position behind Johnny Major, Daniel Hernandez, Michael Magas, and Douglas DeGroat. So DeGroat's had a good start. He's up a couple of spots from the 19th he had on the grid. And in the lead, oh, Mike Stockmill turned around there in the independent run BMW. Everyone crawling through the hairpin here. There he is off the side of the road. Lucas Cranbeer into the lead. I'll kind of recite there. Stockmill finished in, or had taken the lead off at the start. Here's Enrique Hervas running in 10th place. He is the red Audi. And he is trailing two of the pink cars. I'm going to guess Elio Fernandez and Ariel Zatoni, maybe? So many pink cars. So many pink cars. Okay, it is. Okay, and then there's Rossi in the background there in the third pink car. That's going to be a really bit annoying that we have three pink cars running right next to each other anyways. Daniel Hernandez trying to get around Michael Magas. Magas takes the inside line, forces him to the outside. Little bit of shoving between the two. And Magas retains 16th spot there against Daniel Hernandez's attack. In the background is John Barker looking to go on the attack against Hernandez. As we come to an end of the first lap here, you can see the cars working their way through. We are with Robert Waddell, who is running in 21st position in the Jamie Green orange Audi. And behind him is the Mike Rockefeller Audi of, I want to say, Leonard Burke. Maybe? Not entirely sure who's in which car at this time, but of course, without the position guide, it's a little bit hard. Mike Stockmill fighting his way back through the grid up to 26th position. He is on the tail of Vic Nash, who is running in 25th place. So, no offense to Vic Nash, but I think we may be seeing an overtake here from Mike Stockmill relatively soon. And indeed, he gets much later onto the brakes into the hairpin and gets the job done. Might actually get Wayne Hutchinson too. Okay, he got Wayne. Larry Foster running at the back of the pack. He's usually kind of mid-pack, so something must have happened to Larry that has forced him to the back. Running behind John Picha. And Jonas Blaine. Welcome Jonas Blaine to the grid. Finally out there. Vic Nash making a mistake there. Vissar Jacoli up into third place, having a pretty solid showing for himself. Can't see who's ahead of him, but I do know that it is Lucas Cranbeer and Christoph Verstreppen who are up at the front at this time of the race. So Vissar in third, doing quite well for the BMW crew. That's the Marco Whitman Red Bull car. Oh, Jonas Blaine makes a mistake. Goes out wide, as does Vic Nash. And that drops him to the back of the pack. These cars are relatively difficult to handle. Relatively high power to weight ratio, no traction control. So it is definitely a bit of a wake-up call for drivers who are not used to it and haven't practiced enough. Wayne Hutchison having a rough day down here in 23rd position, trailing Robert Waddell and Josiah Jerome. He's got Johnny Major on his tail. Johnny Major also having a rough day. Those are two fairly highly rated drivers, and down in 23rd, 24th position for Team Mercedes. It's not great as Johnny Major finds his way up the inside into the hairpin, and we'll take advantage of that move. Nico Marchand on the tail of, that's Elio Fernandez and Ariel Zatoni. Currently 7th place, so the pink cars are 5th and 6th. Looks like Enrique Hervas in behind them. We'll see what Marchand can do, trying to go on the attack. It is Daniel Hernandez battling with Mike Stoppmill. I think that's going to be kind of one-sided. Stoppmill's got the job done, and that's Douglas DeGroat, who's next up on his recovery list. Already up to 16th place, so 13 spots gained by Mike Stoppmill in 2 laps. He is on a charge. We'll get a view here from Daniel Hernandez as Stoppmill looks for a way around. And there goes Stoppmill down the inside. It'll be interesting to see if he gets that done. Dimitri Simeonidis leading this other pack. I think Simeonidis has got the same car, actually, as Stoppmill. Indeed it is. It's the Ice Watch car. And Stoppmill in the background still trying to find his way around. Simeonidis running in 12th position. That's Valentino Rossi up ahead of him. Visar Jacolis is in 2nd now. So, if you don't mind, it is overtaking Christoph Verstappen, so that's interesting. Let's get the auto director back on. Verstappen now in 3rd, and that is still Lucas Cranbeer up in the lead in the Mercedes. So 1 car from each brand on the podium right now. Mercedes, BMW, and Audi leading the way. Cranbeer for Mercedes, Jacoli for BMW, and the Audi man, Christoph Verstappen. Audi currently leading the team's championship. Verstappen the driver's championship after his win at the Nürburgring here in the opening round of the season after Lucas Cranbeer unfortunately had technical difficulties on the last lap while leading. So this is a chance for him to strike back. Enrique Hervas in 10th place, trailing Nico Marchand. So Marchand's dropped back a little bit. He was in 7th. He is now in 9th. Not sure what happened there because it looks like the pink cars have also dropped back. Not sure how that would have worked. Or possibly we're getting an erroneous position reading off of Marchand, as we are getting an adjustment there. Hervas up to 10th. Sean Kenny is fighting with, I believe that may be Mike Stoppmill. Let's have a look, see here. Yep, that is Mike Stoppmill trailing Sean Kenny, so the battle for 12th is now on between those two. Stoppmill looking for a way down the inside here, and he's got it as Sean Kenny goes very wide there. John Barker actually has a pretty decent run. Here's Jonas Blaine, front end looking a little squash. You can see some definite damage there in the corner panel on the front there. Very damaged car for Jonas Blaine, currently running in 29th position. Not really sure why the auto director decided to feature him. Not really battling anyone. Wonder if that's contact with a car or if that's contact with with the wall. Michael Magas running in 20th place. Not sure who that is he's ahead of. That is Robert Waddell, a little further back in the orange car. As well as James Butler in the orange car. So the 2 Jamie Green cars racing each other. Magas currently running in 20th position. We hop over to Martin Edmonds. First time we've seen him in the Augusto Farfus BMW, up in 5th place. Richard DeRoche behind him, and that is Gustav Ekstrom ahead of him in the Audi. So this is a battle for 4th position. Battle for 2nd taking place just ahead of this. Christoph Verstappen battling with Visar Jacoli. A little bit of a wide run there from Martin, but that'll happen. Here is Visar Jacoli, currently running in 2nd place. He's got Verstappen putting pressure on him, and the leader continues to be Lucas Cranbeer. Let's take a little manual control here for a moment here to watch this battle for second place, because I think Christoph's is feeling a little frisky. See what he's got. We'll also check in on the Mike Stockmill progress at some point in the near future. We know Mike is charging through the field. Let's see where Mike Stockmill currently is at. Mike Stockmill, he hasn't caught Elio Fernandez yet, or Hervas. There he is, taking Valentino Rossi. So the climb is slowed finally. Just got to 11th place there for Mike Stockmill. And next on his list will be Enrique Hervas. Meantime, back at the front, Esr DTM still hanging on. Here is Elio Fernandez on the tail of Nico Marchand. So Marchand at some point has found his way around Elio Fernandez and is now in a pink bread sandwich. Up ahead of him is presumably Ariel Zatoni. We have 3 pink cars at least in this race, and they're all relatively close together. The BWT cars of Mercedes, the cars of Lucas Auer and Christian Vettoris in real life. Ekstrom still on the tail of the battle for second. And kudos to Gustav Ekstrom, Academy driver, doing quite well, keeping it up at the front. So he's in the fight here. Martin Edmonds in behind him. And then it's DeRoche. So not only do we have a podium of all 3 different cars, we have 2 from each team in the top 6. That's pretty cool. Enrique Hervas in 10th place. Mike Stockmill is on his tail, so he needs to get a move on and see if he can get up with Elio Fernandez and Nico Marchand sooner rather than later. In the background, looks like Sean Kenny may be priming for a move. Zatoni up in 7th place still. So he'll be trying to catch up with the back end of Richard DeRoche. And then it is Marchand and Fernandez. And then Enrique Hervas running off the top 10. Bit of a wide run there from Ariel Zatoni. Doesn't cost him too much, though, just some time. Marchand still hanging on to 8th place against the Mercedes of Elio Fernandez, who goes off as well. Bit of a bad little couple of turns there for the BWT boys. Marchand retains 8th position for the 3rd place BMW brand. Should be noted, 2 of the BMWs out here today, Mike Stockmill and Josiah Jerome, are not scoring points for the BMW crew. They are not part of the team, although I believe Josiah has been promoted to Team Audi as of recently, so he will be joining the official ranks. That's very nice. Good to have Josiah back. Johnny Major running in 25th position. Have to say, Johnny Major, a bit of a letdown. Probably one of the low-down moments right now is the struggles of Johnny Major, who is a very solid driver and has not yet found the pace. He's got Vic Nash in behind him, followed by John Peach. James Butler into the pit lane. I don't believe this will be for a mandatory stop, though. That's got to be for some damage or possibly miscalculation of fuel. Here is Lucas Cranbeer, who is shown in 3rd place for some reason. That is not correct. He is in the lead. So, not sure what is up with that. Gonna call something there. Okay, okay. Corrected it at the line, at least. Valentino Rossi is out of the race. So Mercedes is down a car. Esr DTM in 2nd place. Verstappen. Then it is Gustav Ekstrom, Martin Edmonds in 5th position. 6th place for Richard DeRoche in the number 3 Mercedes. Then it is Nico Marchand, who is up another spot. Ariel Zatoni's dropped back. And that is Mike Stockmill in 9th. That is Elio Fernandez. So Zatoni has dropped way back. He's behind Elio Fernandez, whose car looks a little messed up. Has the hot Mike Stockmill on his tail, who's gotten past Enrique Hervas. Hervas in 10th. Ariel Zatoni 11th. 13th for Daniel Hernandez. Sean Kenny in 12th. Butler coming out of the pit lane there. Who's in 14th place? That is John Barker. 15th for Simeonitis. 16th for Jerome. 17th for DeGroot. Andrew D, 18th place. That's a surprise. Andrew D's been one of the more competitive drivers in recent times, although it looks like he may be on a comeback here, so maybe a spin or some kind of contact has put him down the field, but he's up to 17th there, overtaking Douglas DeGroat. Michael Magas in 19th ahead of Larry Foster, Robert Waddell. Wayne Hutchison really struggling, trying to get past Robert Waddell now, and he's going to do that into the hairpin, as long as he doesn't go too wide here. And gets it done, so that's 21st place for Wayne Hutchison, ahead of Leonard Burke, Johnny Major, Vic Nash, John Picha, and James Butler, who has retired from the race along with Valentino Rossi. Jonas Blaine is running in 29th place, despite not being ahead of those cars, is a bit strange. So he's lost a lap at some point, apparently. Pick up Johnny Major here. Sean Kinney in 12th place. Hopefully he can get a little bit higher up. No Mercedes has big hopes for Sean Kinney. It's been a bit of a dry period for him, and hopefully he can make some things happen here. One of many Mercedes DNFs at Nürburgring. It was really a case of exceptionally bad luck for them, losing him, Lucas Cranbeer, a number of others retiring. And as a result, Audi was able to take a very large lead coming into today. Nico Marchand is catching up to Jonas Blaine. This is a blue flag scenario. And Blaine will get out of the way. I think he made a mistake there, but he stayed wide and made it nice and easy for Nico Marchand to get the job done. I hear Robert Waddell has the DRS. You can hear that little whine there as the DRS opens, but it didn't look like he was close enough to Wayne Hutchison originally. But Wayne did just overtake him last lap, so perhaps that's the key. And maybe Wayne has just kind of built this gap up here. Whoa! Miscalculation of the braking needed when coming out of DRS there by Robert Waddell. Mike Stoppmill's up to 9th, having overtaken Elio Fernandez. I don't know if he did that last we checked in him. I could have sworn he was behind Fernandez. Could be wrong. Next on his list is the black car, 2 ahead of him right now in the form of Nico Marchand. Jonas Blaine will probably get out of the way quite easily in the Daniel Juncadella Mercedes. Martin Edmonds still on the tail of our 4th place car of Gustav Ekstrom. Verstappen has still not gotten past Visar Jacoli, so credit to Visar Jacoli where it is due. He is holding up the championship leader and actually has a pretty decent little gap now. And John Picha in the pit lane with, I feel we can note, significant damage. No wheel, no top hatch. I think Audi has lost a car here to go with the already loss of James Butler. And Valentino Rossi, of course, also out of this race. Don't take us back here, thank you. Michael Magas running in 20th place behind Larry Foster, or possibly 21st place. I don't know. Foster was ahead of, or was behind him previously. But the Silber Field car chasing down the Deutsche Bank BMW of Larry Foster. Or possibly Foster has chased him down and then overtaken him. Leonard Burke gets past. That is Robert Waddell. That is for position, I do believe. Yeah, 22nd place. Johnny Major up on the tail of Waddell as well. So Waddell has made some level of mistake. And it has allowed Leonard Burke. Oh no! Leonard Burke, oh, loses it. Hits Waddell, hits Major. And that was a bad moment. Richard DeRoche's up a spot to to 5th place, and I guess that'd be 4th place now. So hang on here. Let's do a head count. And Lucas Cranbeer leads the way. From Gustav Ekstrom's up to 2nd place, so I think Verstappen and Jacoli may have gotten into it. Verstappen in 3rd, Edmonds, DeRoche 5th, and then 6th place for Nico Marchand. 7th now for Mike Stoppmill. Hasn't gotten past anyone outside of the off of Visar Jacoli. 9th for Elio Fernandez, 10th for Ariel Zatoni, 11th for Hervas, 12th is Sean Kenny, not Jonas Blade. Then it's 13th for Daniel Hernandez, 14th for John Barker, 15th for Josiah Jerome, 16th for Andrew D, so he's on a little bit of a charge. Douglas DeGroat is behind... Who's the other Ice Watch car? This is Demetrius Simeonitis. Okay, Demetrius Simeonitis, then Doug DeGroat. John Picha back on track. Larry Foster, 19th. Magas, 20th. 21st for Wayne Hutchinson. Really puzzling race for Wayne Hutchinson. A usually very strong driver, but didn't show tremendously well at Nürburgring. Not showing well here either. Robert Waddell, Leonard Burke, 22nd, 23rd. Vic Nash, 24th. Johnny Major, 25th. Lucas Cranberry is still leading. And I think the only other person remaining is the car of Jonas Blaine. So we'll go back to the auto director here. Sorry to have to do these positional rundowns, but with the lack of positions at the side, it's really difficult to track where everybody is. So I'm going to have to utilize that technique. Now, I must note here the lap count. Some of them you'll noticing are like lap 6 of 6 or whatever, 13 of 13. That does not necessarily indicate that they will retire on this lap. It just means that there's maybe some translation problem with their lap count. Mike Stopmill almost taking 6th place, or I think he did take 6th place off Nico Marchand there, despite the loot loss of the back end a little bit there. He does have a very fast section here that he can get through, and indeed will secure the position from Nico Marchand. Douglas DeGroat running in 17th position as he continues his charge upfield. As he will continue on. Oh, really not a very fast run through that corner. Didn't seem to lose that much time. That looked a little bit awkward from the BMW driver. John Barker, 13th place. Daniel Hernandez just up ahead of him. Or is that Visar Jacoli? That might be Visar Jacoli. Up ahead of him. I don't know. Problem with these double cars. That is definitely one of the Marco Whitman BMWs, and that is... Okay, it is Hernandez. Jonas Blaine getting out of the way there for somebody. Sean Kenny, most likely. And now Daniel Hernandez is next up. Trying to get past him. Martin Edmonds in 4th place, trying to track down Christopher Streppin. He's now the top BMW driver, as the podium is now Mercedes, Audi, with the befalling problems of Visar Jacoli. Edmonds is now the leader of the BMW team, both on track as well as off track. Of course, team captain. And head admin here at the ESR community, so we get to hold him to a higher standard of driving. Here is Hernandez. Oh, Andrew D with a run on Demetrius Simeonitis there. That might work out. Hang on. Let's take that back, please. Let's see if he can do it. Let's hit a little rewind here. Oh, no! All right, so it looks like... is that Simeonitis? Okay, so let's have a look at this here. So it's not Simeonitis. It is Josiah Jerome. So let's see what happens here. Down the inside goes Andrew D. Kind of cuts him off a little bit. Both of them end up very wide. He just lost it on the outside. All right, so not the cleanest overtake we've ever seen from Andrew D, but nothing really to write home about. Daniel Hernandez running very well, I must say. Academy driver Daniel Hernandez up in 12th place. Running behind the much more experienced Sean Kenny and ahead of the much more experienced John Barker. So he might be... Daniel Hernandez may low-key be a driver of the day candidate with that run. I mean, Mike Stoppill's comeback after that early spin, that's been fantastic. Can't overlook Lucas Cranbeer's lead. Gustav Ekstrom's having an excellent race. Actually, I got to take that back. Gustav Ekstrom is my pick for driver of the day right now. Last we checked in with him, he was up in 2nd place, and that's an Academy driver performing right there. There's the messed up car of John Picha running in 26th position. I believe he has a wheel, and this is a rendering issue of not having the wheel. because that car with only 3 wheels would be behaving tremendously amount differently. We'll leave it at that. And there you can see the pitch in the top of the bonnet after, of course, having hit something quite hard from John Peacham. So at this time, we're going to do a quick run through the field once again to kind of remind us. So let's see if we can find the leader. Where is Lucas Cranbeer? There he is. Ariel Zatoni in the lead. Okay, so we may have had some pit stops because Zatoni was like in 10th place. Oh, 20th place. Okay. I am confused as to how this is working on a positional level. It's not great. You tell I'm not very happy with having to do this, can't you? Okay, so there's our leader, Lucas Cranbeer. Jonas Blade's been in and out of the pits again. Christoph Verstappen's shown in 3rd place, but he may actually be up in a 2nd. No, that's Ekstrom ahead of him. So it's Ekstrom, Verstappen, Edmonds, Richard DeRoche. Mike Stockbill is being shown in 5th, but I think he's in 6th. Yeah. Nico Marchand. Visar Jacoli's back up to 8th place. Elio Fernandez, whose car is a little messed up, is in 9th ahead of Enrique Hervas and Sean Kenny. Then it is Daniel Hernandez, who we were talking about earlier, with John Barker on his tail. Andrew D. And then it is Demetrius Simeonitis, who is under pressure. Actually, we're going to stick with him for a little bit here because I think that is Douglas DeGroat chasing him down there in 16th position. Battle of 2 Academy drivers. I can confirm that, yes. Josiah Jerome, speaking of Academy drivers, the double Academy champion, Josiah Jerome, 17th position. Followed by Larry Foster at 18th spot. And then it is Michael Magas in 19th ahead of Ariel Zatoni. So Zatoni has fallen way back to 20th. May have been in and out of the pit lane. I don't know. John Picha. Nope, that is not who's in 21st. Wayne Hutchison, 21st place. Then it is Leonard Burke. Robert Waddell is out of the race. And that is a problem. So is Ekstrom actually in the lead right now? He is! Lucas Cranbeer okay, this we got to check out. Lucas Cranbeer has dropped into 2nd place. And he was comfortably in the lead. So I have no idea how this has happened. I can't imagine that's a pit stop. A pit stop, I feel, the pit stop would have forced him further back. Would it have not? There's no way that a pit stop would have lost Cranbeer just 1 position, something in the wall there, as well. So where is it? Where did Gustav Ekstrom take this lead? Did he catch him, or was there a mistake? And I hate to be going back this far, but this is one of the few advantages of having the replay like this is we can rewind and we can see what happened. Okay, so it's going to happen here. All right, so it definitely looks like it's an off. So let's have a look here. Let's see what happened here. Oh, he avoided the barrier at least. Okay, so here we go. All right, so this is Lucas Cranbeer. The moment he's going to lose the lead of the race. Heading through the 1st sector here towards the Parabolica Straight. Gets too much curb. Spins off. Manages to avoid damaging the car heavily. That's Jonas Blank going through. That is not your leader. The next car through, I believe, will be your leader. That is Gustav Ekstrom there in the red and black Audi coming through. And indeed, he gets the job done. So victory, or not victory, the lead goes to the Academy driver, Gustav Ekstrom, at this point in time. And that helps out Audi tremendously. They're now running 1-3 at the moment with a Mercedes in between them and a BMW in 4th. So it's working out great for Audi right now. Even if outside of Verstappen and Ekstrom, they don't seem to really have anyone terribly running towards the front. I want to say the 3rd highest ranked one is like Enrique Hervas, who's been kind of around that 10th position most of the day. Nico Marchand in 7th position, trying to improve on his luck ahead of teammate Visar Jacoli. Wonder if team orders would come in here because Visar, of course, was running 2nd place, was looking like a surefire podium effort until potentially a contact between him and Christoph Verstappen put him back. Either that or maybe he just lost it. I don't want to put any like shade on Christoph at this point. We didn't see it, but I just can note that Verstappen lost some positions. Jacoli lost some positions, put 2-2 together. It looks like maybe a rub, but maybe it could have also been Jacoli losing the car and then Christoph's avoidance being what cost him. John Barker in the Audi, trailing the BMW of Daniel Hernandez, and up ahead of them it is... I'm not sure who that is ahead of them. So let's see if Lucas Cranbeer can catch up to Ekstrom at all, or how long the Swede can hold the lead here. I believe our only Swede in the field today, with the absence of Zach Hemstrom, who is, of course, the adopted Swede of the ESR community. So it is Ekstrom, Cranbeer, Verstappen, Edmonds, and last we checked, Richard Durocher was in 5th, but we have not seen Richard in a while, so it is possible maybe he's dropped. And we did see a car that looked like him up ahead of Nico Marchand, so it is possible that Mike Stoppmill maybe is taking up a spot. Douglas DeGroat getting a little bit out of shape there, and he's got company coming, so I think he's in trouble. Larry Foster turns off the track there and into the wall. So that is going to be a spot for Dimitri Simeonitis, I think. Simeonitis has got a great run here on Douglas DeGroat. Josiah Jerome in the mix as well in the Audi. Simeonitis has got this. DeGroat is going to hold off Josiah Jerome for the time being, but a nice pass by Dimitri Simeonitis, possibly DRS assisted. And you're in a really bad spot right now if you're Douglas DeGroat, because I have to think that Josiah Jerome probably has DRS as well. As he looks down the inside. Oh, a little out of shape there for Dimitri Simeonitis, and Josiah Jerome takes them both. Fantastic move by the Audi driver, even if it wasn't one that he created. That was created by Simeonitis losing the car and losing a spot there to DeGroat as well. But really good opportunistic move. Oh, DeGroat off the track. Simeonitis gets it back. Michael Magas and Ariel Zatoni battling in the background. I do believe, I will confirm, it is indeed the two Mercedes drivers. Zatoni, I believe, has pitted at this point and served his mandatory stop. That's why he's so far back. He was a top 10 car, so it would be good for Magas to get out of his way if Zatoni can get close enough, because those are, of course, teammates. The BWT Mercedes and the Silverfield Mercedes. We, of course, have a brand battle here. Mercedes versus Audi versus BMW. Wayne Hutchison up to 20th ahead of Larry Foster. That is John Picha, who's been in and out for major repairs. Leonard Burke. Vic Nash. Ekstrom still in the lead ahead of Lucas Cranbeer, but if I'm not mistaken, Cranbeer is getting closer. Let's do a quick rundown here. Verstappen still in 3rd ahead of Edmonds. So it is Mike Stoppmill up to 5th, so he has gotten past Richard Durocher. So Durocher back to 6th. Vissar Jacoli has overtaken Nico Marchand, whether that was a team move or a legitimate overtake, I don't know which. Elio Fernandez in 9th ahead of Enrique Hervas. Sean Kenny in the mix. Then it is John Barker, Andrew D. So something has happened to Daniel Hernandez. Looks like he didn't pit, but maybe a mistake has dropped him back to 14th place ahead of Josiah Jerome, Dimitri Simeonitis, Douglas DeGroat. Zatoni has gotten past Magas. Let's see if maybe we can check that out, because I'm only going to go back so far for this one. No. So we did not catch that in time. My apologies to Ariel Zatoni. We did not get to see your brilliance. Michael Magas in 19th place ahead of Wayne Hutchison and Foster. We've been through this part of the grid. So let's put her back on auto and see what the director wants us to look at. Douglas DeGroat trailing Dimitri Simeonitis, battle for 16th position. Vissar Jacoli in 7th. Not sure why we're picking this view up. He is not particularly close to anybody, so I question the director's choice on the matter. Just amusing seeing that 3-wheeled car of Picha. I am entirely certain that it just hasn't re-rendered the wheel after losing it, but you never know, I guess. Not sure who's served their pit stops at this point. I believe my theory is that Ariel Zatoni has, but I'm not sure if anyone else has. We've seen John Peach in, we've seen Jonas Blade in, but I'm not sure if those were for mandatory pit stops or to service damage, whether it was in the window or not. So Zatoni's trying to streak through. Is that Daniel Hernandez now behind Mike Magas? It is. So hang on. Let's go back and see if we can see what happened to Daniel Hernandez, because he was up in 14th spot. And I think we can find... Okay, this is looking like this might be going back too far for us to really look at. But I'll give it a moment here. So, okay, we found it. This is a bit weird. This is a bit of a weird place to end up losing it. But let's have a look what happened. So it looks like he just comes in too hot into I believe this is Sud Curve. Loses control of the car. There goes Josiah Jerome. There goes the battling Simeonitis and DeGroat, Zatoni, and Magas there in the Silverfield car. We'll all get through. So that is the fate that has befallen Daniel Hernandez at this point. Was having a really solid run prior to that. May still have a really solid run. We got a lot of time left. Gustav Ekstrom running in second position now. So he's lost the lead to Cranbeer. Let's see if we can catch that. I'm only going to go back a couple of turns here to see if we can see it. Because I feel like this move was a little bit more inevitable. Cranbeer's been the man to beat. He made a mistake. Ekstrom got the lead and made the most of it, to be clear. But I always kind of felt like this was going to rotate back. So it looks like it's going to be a legit overtake here, maybe with some DRS involved. Alright, so they get onto the straightaway heading into the hairpin. And, yeah, this is DRS assistance here, drag reduction system in effect for Cranbeer, who gets down the inside and makes it stick. Vic Nash getting a nice front row seat. So an active part of the race, because apparently that was also about the time Hernandez went off. So, not even at the halfway part yet. Jonas Blaine just surrendering a spot there to Martin Edmonds. That was a blue flag scenario. Edmonds in fourth place. Kind of where he's been pretty much this whole race. Even when people have passed him, he's overtaken people who make mistakes. Like, fourth place has got Martin Edmonds' name very solidly on it. And Mike Stoppel, though, on the chase, so that could get interesting. Nico Marchand, what's going on here? So Nico Marchand is in the kitty litter. See what we can see what happened to the BMW bank car. Marchand was doing quite well, although not fourth place. That is lying to us. Makes me wonder if maybe we had a lag moment here because he was not in fourth place before. Running in 8th spot, I do believe, and just kind of loses the car. Ends up in the kitty litter. So we'll hang here for a second just to see if he rejoins or BMW has lost a car that could have been pretty prominent for their championship hopes. Currently in third place is the mark. I think he's done. I think we can safely say that Nico Marchand's race has come to an end. Come on, switch out the car. Switch out the car! Nico Marchand, this is your life. Douglas DeGroat on the tail of Dimitri Simeonitis. These two have been battling for a while, so actually I hope we stick with this for a little while. Ariel Zatoni, Mike Magas in the background. That's the other interesting thing, of course, is we think Zatoni's coming through the grid after a pit stop. Based on the fact that he was running pretty solidly in the top 10 for a while, and is now back in 17th spot. So perhaps a good work there. Elio Fernandez is up to 8th. Sean Kenny's overtaken the car of Enrique Hervas. So Kenny up to 9th place, having a pretty solid comeback ride after some early trouble. Enrique Hervas in 10th. It is John Barker, Andrew D, Josiah Jerome. Then the battle between Simeonitis, DeGroat, Zatoni. Magas kind of in there in 17th place. Daniel Hernandez, Wayne Hutchison, Larry Foster, Leonard Burke. And there is Nico. So Nico Marchand has continued on. So he'll be taking his mandatory pit stop now to try to fix some damage. I imagine that car is not the healthiest right now. See if he retires the car here or if he continues. It looks like he will be continuing. Falling down a lap, though, as Richard DeRoche goes past. Mind you, DeRoche's got a pit stop in him, so that might not be a lap for Nico Marchand. We'll have to see what happens. Esr DTM also in the pit lane, so let's see where he comes out. Esr running in 7th place right now. Probably has a podium-level car, to be honest. We saw him running as high as 2nd place. Then he made a mistake or had a contact with Verstappen. We didn't go back and look. We don't know what happened. But something happened between those with him in 2nd place and dropped him back. And he's been charging back ever since. Let's see where he rejoins. That is, who is that coming into the pit lane? That is Enrique Hervas. That's another top 10 car in the pits as well. Nico Marchand is still in the pits trying to fix his damage. So Simeonitis, Zatoni. Zatoni's the important one that went through there. De Groot. Magas. So Esr is going to rejoin in apparently 15th position. So if you don't mind, let's take a look. Let's see if we can find our leader, which last we checked was Lucas Cranbeer, and it still is. Although Gustav Ekstrom is staying with him, so the Swede's got life. So it is Cranbeer from Ekstrom, Verstappen, with Mike Stockmill now on his tail. So Stockmill's gotten past Martin Edmonds, and next on his list is his fellow Lowlander, the Belgian and the Dutchman, fighting over 3rd place. Verstappen in the pits. So we'll see where he rejoins later. Stockmill up to 3rd, and like I said, Lucas back in 4th place. It's Martin Edmonds once again. So 5th place Verstappen for the time being, but it'll be DeRoche who gets promoted there. That is a lapped car of Vic Nash on his tail. Vic Nash running in 22nd place. So he is not a factor from our point of view right now. Nor is Jonas Blaine running in 24th position. Very beat up Mercedes car. He is, I believe, last place. It shows 25, but I believe that is because we have a retired car in the pit lane. 6th place belongs to Sean Kenny, so his charge continues, and he is overtaking Elio Fernandez. Fernandez back to 7th. John Barker is going on a long run here. Him and Andrew D, who are running in 8th and 9th place right now, they went very deep at Nürburgring. I wouldn't be surprised to see them do it again, and Christoph Verstappen's come out behind them. That is terrible timing for Verstappen, who is a definite podium car, and he has not found a good bit of open track here. He's behind 2 guys who historically go very deep. So we'll see what he can do about that. Josiah Jerome, Ariel Zatoni. Oh, we just picked it up in time to see Mike Magas lose the car, and a spot to Esr DTM. Daniel Hernandez, 14th. 15th for Douglas de Groot. 16th for Dimitri Simeonitis. Larry Foster, 17th. A 19th, Hervas. We have an error there? I think that's 18th. It's got to be 18th. Either that or we don't have an 18th place car. Leonard Burke and Lucas Cranbeer still in the lead from Ekstrom. So we'll see. Oh, Marchand has managed to rejoin. Excellent. So that's good. Let's stick with Mike Stockmill for a bit. He's a guy we don't get to see race a lot. Don't get to see him get a little bit of love. He's on the tail of, that is Wayne Hutchison, who is up ahead of him, so he'll be waved through there. Ekstrom is the car on track ahead of him. He's not really near anyone, so actually, sorry to do this to you, Mike. I was going to give you some attention, but there's really nothing going on around you. So let's drop back and see if we can find a battle. Ekstrom has gotten past Andrew D, or Verstappen, pardon me, has gotten past Andrew D, so that's 8th place for him. Elio Fernandez in the pit lane. Fernandez was running low-end top 10, so let's see where he rejoins. It'll be interesting to see where he rejoins in relation to Enrique Hervas and Ariel Zatoni, because I think those are the 2 that he's probably most battling with at this point. So let's see who he's around when he comes out of the pit lane. That's Daniel Hernandez. That's not really particularly an interesting car. Hernandez is yet to pit. So behind Esr DTM, Ariel Zatoni is in a good spot now. Where has Hervas rejoined? Hervas appears to be the one that is really lost out in this pit stop phase. There he is. He's behind Dimitri Simeonitis, who's yet to pit. But that has not worked out well for him against the guys he was actually battling with. Cranbeer well ahead. That to me suggests a pit stop from Ekstrom. Magas and Marchant. That's not a battle for position. Marchant is a lap down. Hutchison. Vic Nash. So Richard DeRoche's in the pit lane. Let's see who else is in. Ekstrom's in. DeRoche's in. And that is Stopmill, I think, who's in. Yeah. So Stopmill rejoins behind Ekstrom. Very close. So Stopmill has got this pit stop down to a perfection. He's eaten tons of ground out of Ekstrom. Let's see where are they in relation to the actual runners. There's Verstappen. So he was the interesting one for them. So he's gotten out. He's gotten a good pit stop out. So I'm wondering if Ekstrom maybe just got a terrible pit stop. That might explain some things. And it looks like Cranbeer is the only one ahead of them. So they are. So Ekstrom is in second place. Daniel Hernandez in the pit lane. Hernandez is battling with the likes of Simeonitis, DeGroat, Magas to a certain extent. So it'll be interesting to see where he comes out. John Barker, also in the pit lane. Be interesting to see where he comes out. Actually, let's focus on Barker. He's rejoining now. So Barker's main battles with Andrew D more than anything else. And also to a degree it was with Hernandez. So he's rejoined in presumably 18th place. That is behind Leonard Burke. I'm not sure if Burke is pitted or not. I think Burke is not pitted. Because Burke's up a little bit higher now. Larry Foster, we're waiting to see come in. I think DeGroat's still got a pit. Josiah Jerome, I think, for sure has to pit. Andrew D has to pit. He's the deep runner at the front. Edmonds must have pitted. We didn't see it, but he must have. Stopmill we've seen be in Verstappen. So it's in the top 10 is Cranbeer and D that have yet to pit. We're waiting on them. Not really sure why the director has picked up on Daniel Hernandez particularly. So, you know what? We said we were going to pay attention to Stopmill. Let's pay attention to Stopmill, because this battle for second place, I think, is heating up. Because I think, honestly, my gut feeling is these guys are in reverse pace order. I think Ekstrom's the slowest. I think Stopmill's the fastest. That would be their qualifying order. Oh, and Verstappen gets spun around by Stopmill. I mean, that is one way to... And Martin Edmonds is back in fourth place, everyone. Martin Edmonds still on the charge. Fourth place once again. Verstappen drops to fifth ahead of DeRoche. Then it is Zatoni, not Vic Nash, no. Visargicoli, Sean Kenny. So it looks like Andrew D's been in. Foster has not, because I have a hard time believing Foster's in a legit 11th place, based on where we've seen him just all day. Hervas has been in and out. DeGroat, I don't think has, because he wasn't fighting with Hervas in the early going, so he might be going deep. There's Andrew D. And I think I can guarantee that, because of course D just pitted and is now on a charge again. So I think DeGroat yet to pit. As I think a little bit of lag there for DeGroat. Not terribly surprising. Douglas DeGroat, of course, is of Guyana, so a bit of a problematic connection. Josiah Jerome, I think, has been into the pits. Barker, we saw pit. Cranbeer, I think, still has to pit. I think Hernandez may... No, Hernandez has been in. Magas has been in. Marchant was in for a long time fixing damage. And unfortunately, he's been eliminated from probably a top 10. Hutchison, I think, has been in. Simeonitis has been in. I think we're still just really waiting on Lucas Cranbeer, I think, to complete the pit stop order. I think that's the only one. Oh, pardon me, Larry Foster in the pits. A deep run from Larry Foster here today in the Deutsche Post car. Of course, one of the more famous drivers in the DTM field, former F1 driver Timo Glock. So he's going to get overtaken, I think, pretty easily by this battle between Hernandez and Magas. I'm interested to see where he comes out. We're looking for the yellow car. Oh, never mind. He may get out ahead of Magas. Let's see. Watch this. Nope, Magas has got him clean. Okay, so Foster rejoins in what is 17th position. Ahead of Wayne Hutchison and behind Mike Magas, ahead of Dimitri Simeonitis. So Simeonitis' pit stop I don't think went very well. We'll have to see about that. I was thinking Stopmill would be faster than Ekstrom, but Ekstrom is doing the job right now, holding it up. Seems like the DTM cars really suit him quite well. Also did quite well in the endurance recently at Red Bull Ring. So Gustav Ekstrom, you may be punching your ticket out of the academy, where he runs with a 100 kilogram ballot. Mike Stopmill looking to get the job done here. Doesn't look like he has DRS. Going to the outside. Going deep. But getting the job done. That's second place for Mike Stopmill. This time a little cleaner than last time, Mike. In the Tom Blomqvist Ice Watch car. So Cranbeer still leads. May or may not have pitted. I'm thinking no, because I don't think he's going to be... I don't think he'd be this far ahead of... There he is. Okay, Lucas Cranbeer in the pit lane. We're going to follow this. We're going to see where he comes out in relation to the lead. He has been our leader for most of the race outside of a brief mistake that let Gustav Ekstrom into lead. We're looking for Mike Stopmill to come around the corner. Is this going to be at all close? Or pardon me, we're waiting for Ekstrom to come around the corner. Someone else in the pit lane, too. That is Douglas. Okay, so Douglas DeGroat also making a stop. I think these are the last two. That's Josiah Jerome. That is not a factor for the lead. It is a factor for DeGroat. Let's see, looking behind him. It looks like Cranbeer easily getting it. Stopmill and Ekstrom not even close at this time. So pit stops are, I think, done. Lucas Cranbeer from Mercedes leads the independent Mike Stopmill, the Audi of Gustav Ekstrom, the BMW of Martin Edmonds, the Audi of Christoph Verstappen, 5th place. 6th place, Richard DeRoche in the Mercedes. 7th place, Visar Jacoli for BMW. Sean Kenny up to 8th place, legitimately in the Mercedes. Great run from him. We're looking for 9th place. It is Elio Fernandez in the Mercedes. Andrew D in 10th place. Andrew D. What has happened to Ariel Zatoni, though? Enrique Hervas in 11th. Trying to get past Andrew D, actually. We'll stick with this for a little bit. Just see. Okay, never mind. A little mistake there. I think that's going to let D weasel his way forward. John Barker for Audi. Ariel Zatoni's in the pit lane again, so he has either made a mistake on fuel or, actually, judging by that front end, maybe a headbutt. That was not terribly well timed. A couple of cars going past. That'll be a couple of positions, I think, for him. Or no, drive-through penalty. Okay. Drive-through. So getting back to our countdown. BMW 13th with Daniel Hernandez. Mercedes 14th with Mike Magas. That might change because the BMW of Larry Foster's got a run in. Foster's got 14th. So Magas 15th. 16th is a Tony rejoining from the drive-through. Hutchison. Then it's Demetrius Simeonitis. That's BMW. Josiah Jerome in the independent car is in 19th place. 20th place belongs to Douglas DeGroat, BMW. 21st position to Leonard Burke. Jonas Blaine back in the pit lane. Nico Marchant's 24th for BMW. And 22nd BMW, Vic Nash. Hervas actually did get past Andrew D. So let's go track that down real quick. We thought Hervas had a shot early in the lap, but he made a mistake that let D escape. So he must have caught him again and gone for the overtake, or it looks, or D made a mistake, possibly. Feels like D making a mistake may be more likely here. No way, no way, no way. It's got to be a mistake. Got to be a mistake. There, got to be a mistake. Either that or the DRS is just that powerful. Holy moly, I think. Yeah, so we're going back here. This is where we thought Hervas had a shot, actually. D made a mistake. Or Hervas made a mistake. You see it right there. Loses control of the car. Then we get to the Parabolica. And then DRS just takes over. And Hervas absolutely runs the BMW down for 10th place. Is really the only way to say it. Goes to the inside. D could have tried to shut the door there, maybe, but yeah. The Canadian being maybe a little bit over polite. And Hervas just speeds on through. Now he's got to break that DRS range, or that might happen to him on the next lap. So you can see Larry Foster and Mike Magas squabbling over 14th place, and that just plays into the hands of Daniel Hernandez. Sean Kinney in 8th place. Looked like maybe a little bit of problem with trying to get past Jonas Blaine's lapped car. Imagine, yeah, there we go. Jonas going into the pit lane again. So not a number of pit lane visits for Jonas Blaine. It's been a rough day. Behind him are the non-factor cars of Leonard Burke and I believe Nico Marchand. Shame about Nico Marchand. Really long pit stop due to damage. Has put him either at the back or second from the back. Martin Edmonds still in 4th place ahead of Verstappen. That is, I want to say Doug DeGroat, his lapped car. It's the Martin Tomczyk BMW. None of those are in the top 10 for sure. Edmonds in 4th place. Hervas, 10th place, holding off D. Let's see if D can do to Hervas what Hervas did to him last lap. DRS is engaged. Here comes Andrew D. Don't want the director to miss this. D going for it. Can he do? He can. He can do exactly to Hervas what Hervas did to him. And that's 10th place back in the hands of Andrew. No! He lost it. He lost it. Did not stabilize the car enough. And Hervas laughing all the way to the bank with a wasted DRS opportunity for Andrew D to get back into the top 10. Hervas in 10th. D in 11th. Elio Fernandez up ahead of them. I believe that is a lapped car that he's fighting with. There are no cars that match that description. Indeed, that is the car of Vic Nash. The Puma BMW. Falling down another lap or a lap. I don't have lap numbers. I'm sorry. I mean, I guess I could just pop up to him. So it's just one lap. So he's just off the lead lap. Hervas. All right, let's see. Can D do it this time cleanly? He's got the DRS. He's using the DRS heading into this turn. I don't know if that's a great idea. I tried that a couple times myself, and it didn't work out all that well. Can he set up, though, for a run? I think he's got it. Like, engaged. There we are. DRS is on, and he should be pulling way away from the Audi of Enrique Hervas down, trying to secure that 10th position for Andrew D and BMW. BMW desperately needs some points. They have struggled so far. A bad outing at Nürburgring. Not the greatest outing here. I think they've only got 2 cars in the top 10. I think it's D and it's Edmonds. Or no, Visar Jacoli's also up in there. So let's do a quick rundown of where everyone is. Lucas Cram-Beer, a solid run, a dominant run. He's got his car mate Wayne Hutchison behind him to do some things for him. He is leading the way for Mercedes. Was leading the way at Nürburgring. Terrible technical difficulties putting him out. We'll see if it holds up this time. In 2nd place, Mike Stoppmill, non-brand scorer. He's here as independent in the Ice Watch car. Got some traffic to get through here. Top Audi is at Gustav Ekstrom, having an absolute breakout month, or a breakout little bit here. The Enduro race. Now this late March, early April has been a great time to be Gustav Ekstrom in ESR. Martin Edmonds is the top BMW. He's at 4th place. He's got the Audi of Christoph Verstappen on his tail. The 2nd Mercedes is Richard DeRoche in 6th place. He is ahead of the 7th place car, Visar Jacoli. That's another BMW. Sean Kenny for Mercedes is in 8th. And I believe 9th is another Mercedes. And I can confirm it is Elio Fernandez. So that is 4 Mercedes in the top 10. 3 scoring BMWs. Only 2 Audis. Audi taking a bit of a blow here today, although they do have some hopes further down in the grid. 10th place belongs to Andrew D. And he is way ahead of Enrique Hervas now. So I was going to say Hervas was one of the hopes. Maybe not anymore. 12th place, John Barker for Audi. 13th place belongs to the BMW of Daniel Hernandez, ahead of the BMW of Larry Foster. We're going to stick with this for a little bit because I think we got a DRS possible overtake here. Oh, never mind. Michael Magas loses control of the car, and that ruins any hope he had of a good run. He is still in 15th place for Mercedes, ahead of Ariel Zatoni. And then that is the last car in the lead lap as Demetrius Simeonitis has fallen behind Leonard Burke. Josiah Jerome fighting with Wayne Hutchison. Let's stick with this for a little bit. He's got the DRS on here. This is the independent BMW driver, Josiah Jerome, soon to be factory Audi driver, trying to get past the Mercedes factory driver, Wayne Hutchison. And he gets it done. Hutchison goes way too far to the outside. Josiah Jerome, 18th spot. Now in the independent BMW. See if we can find a decent battle going on here anywhere. There's a lot of kind of developing battles, but nothing really on right now. So I'm having a hard time finding anything. I mean, we'll go with Larry Foster, Mike Magas. They picked up a spot here as something has happened to Daniel Hernandez. Let's go back and take a look at that. We've had a bit of lack of excitement lately, so let's see if we can figure out what happened with Daniel Hernandez. He had been ahead of Larry Foster and Mike Magas, and I think that's Demetrius Simeonitis that's also overtaken him. Been quite high on Daniel Hernandez through the Academy season and also the... Ooh, is this a contact? Maybe. Let's see here. Okay, so we're heading to the hairpin here. Larry Foster may have DRS, I'm not sure. He just goes down the inside. Hernandez cuts him and then ends up planting himself right in front of Ariel Zatoni. So that's why Zatoni's not on this flight anymore as well. And then has to do a little bit of a difficult rejoin there with a hot track and rejoins behind the car of Demetrius Simeonitis ahead of Josiah Jerome. So we were going to look at the Mike Magas fight with Larry Foster, so let's do that. The best overtaking opportunity Magas is going to have is coming up at the start of the next lap, so let's stick with him till then. This is a key battle between Mercedes and BMW in the midfield. Foster in the Deutsche Bank BMW, Magas in the Silberfield Mercedes. And if I'm pronouncing that wrong, please let me know, because I admittedly don't know. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say the Silberfield name, so it may be incorrect. So the DRS opportunity here is going to be into the Parabolica section of the track, and that is coming up very soon. This is where Magas is going to have a great opportunity. We saw Andrew D. We saw Enrique Hervas do some things with this. There's the DRS. There he is driving for it. Doesn't tuck into the stream, which is maybe a bit of a mistake. Not sure what that is. Perhaps some behavior in Foster in the past has led him to believe that that's a bad idea. And I think that may cost him, as he does not get the job done by the hairpin. Oh, never mind. Foster off. Problem academic. Magas into 13. Let the auto director take us through some cars here for a hot second. Rough day at the office for Jonas Blaine. Still running though. This is Michael Magas we're on board with again. Not sure why. Coming to the end of lap 32. Gets a little bit of DRS from his battle with Larry Foster. Martin Edmonds hanging on to 4th place, and this might be... We're going to stick with this for a bit, I think. Christoph Verstappen's coming on hard. Richard DeRoche in the gray car in the background, also somewhat in this fight, but a ways back. That's Wayne Hutchison and also the mix there, Josiah Jerome, I think. Josiah's dropped back behind Wayne Hutchison again. Let me just verify that. No, it's Simeonitis. So Simeonitis has had some moments. All right, so DRS for Verstappen. This has been the place to make your overtake stick into the hairpin with the DRS advantage. Doesn't look like it's going to happen this time, though. Edmonds has got the door shut. Continuing to hang on for the time being. Stop Mill nowhere near Cranbeer, so not really any interest going on the podium. Douglas DeGroat appears to be out of the race. See, he's lost his front end. So that's a shame. Edmonds versus Verstappen. Audi versus BMW. BMW really needs that 4th place right now. Richard DeRoche borrowing a little bit of slipstream from Wayne Hutchison, who gets out of the way. Ooh, someone's going in the pit lane. So, hang on a sec. Let's check out what's going on here. So Simeonitis is into the pit, so whatever is wrong with his car, I'm not sure if it's a fuel level thing or a damage thing. Doesn't appear to visually have any damage particularly. I mean, we can see he's hit something in the front, but he's had that for a while, so I can't imagine that that was the prompting motive to be in the pits. Richard DeRoche. Enrique Hervas has dropped a spot, or is this a case where the positioning is wrong? Hey, he has! He has lost a spot to John Barker. I'm not going to bother trying to check on where that is, because it could have been, like, laps ago with the gap between them, but interesting. He is the last place car in the lead lap, 12 left on the lead lap, as Mike Magas and Ariel Zatoni fall down a lap. We'll see what happens here between the theoretically much faster Mercedes of Zatoni, whose drive-through penalty has forced him back here, and Magas, who's maybe a little bit more smooth as a driver, ahead of Larry Foster and Josiah Jerome. Nope, that's Mike Stockman. Pardon me, coming through to lap the field. Oh, another lost control for Zatoni, and now, instead of attacking Magas, he may have to worry more about Larry Foster. Of course, he does have DRS down the Parabolica, and Foster does not, so I do not believe there's any threat at the moment. Foster also has to let Mike Stockman through, and he does. Oh, Verstappen at some point got Edmonds. Let's see if we can go back a couple of turns and see what happened. So this is a battle we've been very, very interested in. Let's see if we can pick it up. And oh, we can. We're fortunate here. Okay. So this looks like it's going to be a DRS assisted overtake. Let's have a look. Well, let's go back a little further. Or he already got it here apparently. Let's see. Where did Christoph get Martin? Where did Christoph pry 4th place from Martin Edmonds' cold, dead fingers? I said we'd only go back a couple of turns, but let's face it, this is probably the most interesting thing that'll happen for the next little bit. I want to see it. Also, we get the unique view of, like, driving on the front of the car. Alright, so after all of this, what we probably have here is just a DRS-assisted overtake here into the hairpin, our favorite spot for the overtakes. Verstappen down the inside, gets the job done, brakes soon enough to stabilize the car and exit the DRS, and takes the spot. Alright, now let's fast forward up until the battle with this position again, because I am also intrigued by that. Things you would never see on a real broadcast. We deal with it. Let's have a look at where he uses his DRS as well. He used one to get past, one on the lead up to the stadium section, and either didn't use the third or had used the third prior. Okay, let's have a look here. We are back on with Martin Edmonds and Christoph Verstappen battle for 4th place. Verstappen taking it last lap. We'll see what he can do this time. If he can hold it, because it looks like Edmonds is going to have the DRS into the spot where he made the overtake. And indeed, I can see the DRS is active on the BMW car. So here comes Martin Edmonds. He's like that 4th place. Let's see what he can do. He's going to have to do it on the outside line of the hairpin if he wants it, though. And a brave late braking from Christoph Verstappen retains the position. I feel like this is probably where the fight is really left. Nobody. I mean, we'll take a look after if this settles down a little bit. We'll have a look at some other places. Maybe there's some other fights going on. But there wasn't really much last time we checked through the field. Anyways, our leader is Lucas Cranbeer from Mike Stoppmill and Gustav Ekstrom. Verstappen now in 4th place ahead of Martin Edmonds. 6th place for Richard DeRoche. 7th place for Visar Jacoli, who is absolutely alone. 8th place for Sean Kenny. 9th place for Andrew D, who has overtaken Elio Fernandez, who's back to 10th place. 11th belongs to John Barker. 12th, I believe, is Enrique Hervas. And I'm correct. 13th to Michael Magas, ahead of, that is Ariel Zatoni. 14th. 15th for Larry Foster. 16th for Daniel Hernandez, ahead of Josiah Jerome. Actually, we'll stick with this battle for a little bit. Josiah is up on the tail, and Josiah's gotten a little bit of front damage there that I don't recall seeing previously. Actually, pardon me, I've been saying that Josiah's been driving a BMW. It's an Audi this whole time. My apologies. That's the Nico Muller Audi that he is driving, not a BMW. I'm sure the comments will be lit up with people complaining about my misidentification of the car. It's a lapping situation in behind, I think. Yeah, that's... Oh, no, that's Verstappen versus Edmonds. We'll stick with this a little bit, too. Nice. The two main battles I'm interested in paying attention to are very close together, so they're easy to swap back and forth between, and we can kind of see them from the other battle. That's nice. So 11 laps to go. Christoph Verstappen has pried 4th place from Martin Edmonds, and Josiah Jerome and Daniel Hernandez are fighting above. Richard DeRoche is getting bigger and bigger in there. Martin's got a nice move there. Can he hold it, though? Inside line to the next turn goes to Verstappen, and he's got it back. So Christoph Verstappen retains 4th place for the time being. Josiah Jerome, double Academy champion, against Academy hopeful, Academy race winner Daniel Hernandez, battling it out. That's an independent Audi, so Jerome does not count for Audi points, although he will be promoted, I believe, in round 3 to factory driver. Unfortunately, some problems that will take away Enrique Hervas as well as Gustav Ekstrom from the Audi team is really going to hurt their chances. As Christoph Verstappen continues to hold against Martin Edmonds, but here is the big chance. The DRS is in the BMW's favor. Will Martin Edmonds charge back into the 4th place that he is bloodily held? But the man who is really benefiting off of this is the man in 6th place, Richard DeRoche, there in the gray Mercedes. To the inside goes Ekstrom, or Verstappen, pardon me. He's going to make it difficult. By the way, Josiah Jerome has gotten past Daniel Hernandez, probably in very similar fashion. But we'll be fair. We're gonna go have a quick look at that. Rewind the battle for 16th place here. And indeed, it looks like Jerome just established an overlap very, very early, and there just isn't much you can do if you're Daniel Hernandez. I mean, he's lost the inside line, he's lost the DRS advantage, and yeah, there goes Josiah Jerome up into 16th place. The number 31 Nico Muller car bests the number 11 Marco Whitman car. Multi-time DTM champion Marco Whitman. Ten laps to go. Keep an eye on this because we can see the Edmonds. Actually, you know what? This is heating up, and it looks like Jerome might have the advantage here. So it's Edmonds versus Verstappen versus DeRoche. BMW versus Audi versus Mercedes. You could argue also these are the 3 team captains of this team, of these teams. And they're fighting it out for 4th place right now. And effectively points for 3rd because, of course, Mike Stoppmill, who's up in 2nd place, is a guest driver and does not count for points. Alright, Verstappen's got an outside line here. Edmonds inside. It's going to change, though, on the next corner and give the inside to Verstappen, who does take the spot. Once again, 4th place belongs... No! He spins it! No! The hopes of Audi spinning away. I mean, they are in the lead. They are still scoring strong here today, but that's a huge benefit for Mercedes and BMW. Edmonds back into 4th place. How many times have I said that in this race? That Martin Edmonds runs in 4th place once again, ahead of Richard DeRoche. Wasn't really any chance of Visar Jacoli catching the spun car or Sean Kenny, though. Elio Fernandez has re-overtaken Andrew D at some point. D back to 10th place. Elio back up into 9th. John Barker still in 11th. Still in the lead lap, too. Lucas Cranbeer is the leader. Enrique Hervas now down a lap. Larry Foster at some point has inherited 13th place ahead of Michael Magas, so perhaps a mistake from the Mercedes driver. Ariel Zatoni 13th or 15th. Josiah Jerome. Daniel Hernandez. Then, oh, Richard DeRoche gets a little shape. 18th for Wayne Hutchison. Oh, whoa. Visar Jacoli in the wall. And I don't think you need to be an expert on cars, but that right there, that's terminal. And yeah, he is done. So BMW BMW losing a key part of their championship bid there. Jacoli was running in 7th place. So that's going to promote Sean Kenny. That's going to promote Elio Fernandez, that's going to promote Andrew D. That's going to promote Enrique Hervas, who I believe is in 10th now. No, John Barker is in 10th. Hervas 11th. And then 12th is going to be Larry Foster. Time running down here. Last 7 laps of this race here at the Hockenheimring Grand Prix layout. One of the best battles on the field right now remains Martin Edmonds and Richard DeRoche battling over 4th place. And then further back, it is Christoph Verstappen and Sean Kenny in 6th and 7th place. Then Elio Fernandez, Andrew D, and John Barker, your top 10. Big blow to the BMW crew with the loss of Visar Jacoli, who was their 2nd highest rated BMW. Because, of course, 2nd place Mike Stoppmill does not count. He is here as a guest driver. Lucas Cranbeer continues to lead from Stoppmill and Gustav Ekstrom of Audi. Then it is Edmonds. Then it is DeRoche. Then it is Kenny. Then it is Verstappen. Then it's Kenny. Then it is Fernandez, D, and Barker, Hervas, Foster, Magas, Zatoni. Your top 14. Oh, whoa. What's going on with Hervas? Hang on. Or was he just was that just a... Where's Enrique Hervas? He slowed down quite suddenly there. Have we lost another car from this race? I'm looking for... No, he's still here. Okay. Still here, still in 11th place, although he has fallen off of the lead lap. Stoppmill's through. Cranbeer's through. Stoppmill's getting very close to Cranbeer. So, either Lucas Cranbeer just kind of chilling, or Mike Stoppmill has turned it up to 11 and is on the chart. Zatoni has found his way past Magas at some point. So that is Zatoni up to 13th, Magas to 14th. 15th, I think, is Josiah Jerome. Am I correct on that? Do I still have a rough idea of where everyone is? Is the question. No, it's Daniel Hernandez, who's gotten back past Josiah Jerome for 15th place ahead of Josiah Jerome. So Josiah Jerome back to 16th. 17th, Wayne Hutchison. I don't know what to make of this day for Wayne Hutchison. He seems to have had no pace, but we haven't commented on him going off the track. We haven't commented on him making mistakes, and it's gotten him to 17th spot. But, which in a lot of ways is the Wayne Hutchison race. Be consistent, be clean, be smooth. But usually there's just a lot more of a pace component than we've seen here today. But he was not very fast at Nürburgring either. And, struggling with these DTM cars, maybe, as he lets past the sister Esteban Ocon car of Sean Kenny. Interesting note, Esteban Ocon was not the driver of that car at the end of the season. Of course, this was the season that Ocon got promoted to F1 with the Manor team. And as a result, Felix Rosenquist actually raced the majority of the races in the 34 Freeman's car. Or Freeman's car. Freeman's, yes. Not Esteban Ocon. There's a lot of F1 links with DTM, of course. We've seen DTM champions like Pascal Wehrlein and Paul di Resta attempt to do the F1 thing. Gary Paffett's been in and out of test driving rules a couple of times. We've, of course, seen the opposite flow direction with Heinz Frentzen, Jean Alesi, Mika Hakkinen, Vitaly Petrov, Ralf Schumacher, David Coulthard, and of course Timo Glock, all coming over to DTM from F1 when they have elected to. In the case of Glock and Petrov's career, nobody wanted them. In the case of Coulthard, Hakkinen, Frentzen, more of a willing departure from the F1 grid. I don't know if Frentzen or would qualify Frentzen or Alesi, because Frentzen, of course, hit absolute peak in the late 90s. 2 seasons at Williams, doing quite well. Kind of a letdown, but then the Jordan season in '99, of course, finishing third in the championship, 2 race wins. 2000 was a bit of a weird season because if you just look at the points count or whatever, it's pretty bad. But like when the car wasn't blowing up, he was in the points, so you got to give respect for that. And then 2001 started really well, went downhill, got sacked by Jordan, and still the biggest mystery in F1 to me is the Frentzen sacking and how Eddie Jordan with the Jordan brand handled his drivers heading into the trying to get Honda as a factory partner. Because the scoop has always been that he sacked Frentzen to make room for Takuma Sato, but he was losing Jarno Trulli to Renault anyways, so I have no idea why he just didn't go with a Frentzen Sato lineup. Like that, to me, that makes a ton more sense. I imagine Renault would have been more than willing to keep Giancarlo Fisichella, who was the swapper with Trulli, because they didn't like Jenson Button, who was their other driver. They could have sacked Button and made Flavio Briatore happy, and then had a year of Fisichella and Trulli, which I believe were both Briatore guys. It's just really weird. Someday I want like Josh Ravel or any of those guys to do like a what the fuck happened Honda, BAR, and Jordan in the early 2000s. It would be amazing. Because if I were to do it, I would just be confused. Like, I have no idea. I cannot think of a rational reason for any of that whole saga to happen. And especially not Honda's final choice to go with BAR over Jordan, who had outperformed BAR considerably. I mean, fair play, maybe it was a case that like Eddie Jordan wasn't really willing to step aside, and the guys at BAR were. I don't know. Maybe that's the simple answer. Auto Director's not really giving us anything good to look at, so let's see what's going on. I was going to say, if that was Mike Stoppmill closing in on Cranbeer, that'd be cool, but that's Dimitris Simeonitis, the other Ice Watch car. So not much going on there. John Barker has fallen off the lead lap, so 9 cars left on the lead lap. Ekstrom pretty alone. Martin Edmonds has more or less seemingly got the advantage over Richard DeRoche now. We'll see who's in 6th place. That is Christoph Verstappen, 6th position. Sean Kenny in 7th, and kind of alone. In fact, has multiple lap cars between him and Andrew D, who has overtaken Elio Fernandez. So Fernandez is back to 9th. And that's really all that's happened in the last little bit here. Not really anything going on the track right now. So I don't offer my usual apologies for going into an F1 history rant. Because there's not really much we missed. I mean, Andrew D can be mad at me because we missed his overtake of Elio Fernandez, which I'm sure was epic. But, John Peaches had it. Oh! Larry Foster's off! Larry Foster's off. That's DeRoche going through. That's not a big deal. That's a lap situation. So it doesn't look like he's going to lose any spots. Because, Josiah Jerome on the charge. And then further back, it's going to be Hernandez and Magas. There's a Hernandez and a Fernandez in the grid. It's gonna probably mess with me a little bit. Dimitris Simeonitis actually holding up Mike Stoppmill a little bit. I wouldn't complain about that if it wasn't. I guess Stoppmill's not a BMW, but just a bit weird to see two like sister cars kind of not being as conscientious as you can be under blue flags. We'll put it that way. Two or one more lap to go for most of these cars. Looks like Vic Nash had a bit of a hard time with Sud Curve. Still running though. I want to tip my hat to the Jonas Blaines, the Vic Nashes, the John Peaches of the world. The fortitude it takes to run laps down on this track is very impressive, and I want to give all the credit in the world. That is because it is absolutely deserved to those guys. Just looking to see if anyone is fighting at this point. And unfortunately, I'm not really finding anything. Enrique Hervas has dropped all the way back to 15th place, so something happened to Enrique, because he's now behind. Oh, Larry Foster off as well! And Magas, Mike Magas, is the cherry picker of them all, picking off Larry Foster, and some obvious problems for Enrique Hervas at the end to get up into 13th place behind Daniel Hernandez and Josiah Jerome. Josiah's being shown at 12th. I'm a little puzzled on the positionings right now. This could be the end of the race for Richard DeRoche as he comes across the line. Yep, that does look like it. So this is the finishing up. Martin Edmonds is done. Top 5 are done. Okay, so I was right. Josiah's up to 11. Was up to 11th place. Okay. Verstappen finishes in 6th. 12th for Daniel Hernandez. 13th for Mike Magas. 14th for Enrique Hervas. Vic Nash at 20th. Sean Kenny in 7th. 15th for Wayne Hutchison. So that turned into a decent result at the end. Larry Foster threw away a surefire 13th place for 16th there at the end. Ariel Zatoni. That's a lot of. There's a lot of what could have been there for him. Leonard Burke, 18th place, good run. Andrew D, 8th. John Peach is going to come home in 22nd. Lucas Cranbeer was your winner from Mike Stoppmill. Elio Fernandez, 9th. John Barker, 10th. So hang on, let's just pause this, and I'll just quickly run down the final result, and then we'll call it a. My apologies, I really should have had the results up and handy, but I didn't think of that. That's my fault. All right, your final results from Hockenheim on April 4th for the DTM ESR Team Series. Your winner for Mercedes AMG, Lucas Cranbeer. Guest driver Mike Stoppmill took 2nd place ahead of Gustav Ekstrom for Audi. BMW's Martin Edmonds, Richard DeRoche for Mercedes, Christoph Verstappen for Audi, Sean Kenny for Mercedes, Andrew D from BMW, Elio Fernandez from Mercedes, John Barker from Audi. Guest driver Josiah Jerome was 11th ahead of BMW's Daniel Hernandez. Mercedes' Michael Magas. Audi's Enrique Hervas threw away some good stuff at the end there. Wayne Hutchison, Mercedes AMG. Larry Foster, another one who threw it away at the end for BMW. Ariel Zatoni, absolutely a what could have been. For contrast, Ariel Zatoni's fastest lap of 34.9 was faster than Foster's, Hutchison's, Hervas's, Magas, Hernandez, Josiah Jerome, John Barker, Elio Fernandez. So everyone up to the top 8. He had a top 10 car here today and finishes in 17th place. Bit of a rough time for him out of Leonard Burke for Audi, BMW's Dimitri Simeonitis and Vic Nash, Mercedes' Jonas Blade, and John Picha for Audi. Your final finishers, DNFs for the BMWs of Visar Jacoli, Nico Marchand, Douglas de Groot. Mercedes lost Johnny Major, Valentino Rossi. Audi losing Robert Waddell and James P. Butler here today. So there you go. Fastest lap of the race went to Lucas Cranbeer, 133.721. One of only 2 drivers to get into the 133s. The other ones was Mike Stoppmill's fastest lap was a 133.771. We'll have a look here at the scoring real quick to tell you what happened with the team battle. Your top scorers today were the Mercedes AMG crew led by Richard DeRoche, 273 points. Christoph Verstappen led the Audi contingent to 220 points. I should say Cranbeer led Mercedes to that. He was the race winner. I don't know why he's listed at the bottom there. Verstappen leading Audi, along with Gustav Ekstrom to 220. And Martin Edmonds leads BMW to 203. So a better round for them this time around. But problem is there. You can check the standings in the description below. I will, however, give you just a quick top 5 update. Christoph Verstappen leads the way by a single point from Richard DeRoche. Martin Edmonds also tied for that, but has a better result than DeRoche, who's second at the Nürburgring, does have him on the tiebreaker. Gustav Ekstrom in 4th, ahead of Elio Fernandez in 5th. And then in the Constructors' Championship, it is Audi leading with 497 to Mercedes' 476. And the 399 of BMW. Division leaders for Verstappen Division 1, Fernandez Division 2, and Vic Nash Division 3. Congratulations to everyone who raced here today. This was a great race and a fairly clean one, actually. So hopefully we can continue that on to the next round, which is, I believe, Lausitz Ring. Allow me to quickly confirm that. And confirmation is had. Lausitz Ring Short Track will be the home of round 3 of this DTM Championship. Stops yet, it's Zandvoort, Red Bull Ring, Road America, and Dubai. Should be a great series. Really loving how the DRS creates a lot of overtaking opportunities, even if it may be a little bit overpowered at times. But I hope you enjoyed this kind of Plan B replay.